lost my mind a little bit, and it is fire by like a centimeter, if that. Hi, I'm Sock Marionette, also known as Bargain Counter Argument, under which name I am available on Instagram, as well as here on YouTube, where I am a middle-aged lady in a tiara talking about books. I'm trying something a little different today. I recently made a trip to a used bookstore in Milford, Connecticut, called Penny's Bookshelf. And it is the kind of bookstore that has a lot of mass market paperbacks, a lot of romances and other genre fiction. And I had quite a lot of store credit, and I had a little bit of cash, and I kind of lost my mind a little bit. And I need to figure out where to store this box of books and this box of books and these trade paperbacks. Now, with a view toward doing that, I have already cleared some space on my shelves, but probably not enough. And also, it's kind of a chore to move all the books around. I have a bookshelf downstairs, which is kind of being underused right now. It's kind of in a reading corner. I have a recliner and a couple of lamps. It's very dark, so I'm not going to film down there right now. I'll probably take a couple of before still shots and a couple of after still shots, because I have a few books down there, but I could use those shelves for some of this stuff. Okay, so one thing Penny has, she has a rack of books that are 4 books for $1. So I picked out 4 books. They're mostly category romances, you know, like Harlequin Presents, that kind of thing, Harlequin Romance, that kind of thing. So I picked out 4 for $1, and she's like, oh, it's 2 for $1. And I'm like, oh, so I can pick out another 4. So it's really 8 for $1. And she says, yes, it is. So 12.5 cents each. I was into it. So there I have, let's see, what were the 8? I picked up 3 Harlequin Presents from 2 are from November of 2011, and 1 is from January of 2012. A Harlequin Temptation and a Harlequin Blaze. These are discontinued lines. And also, speaking of discontinued lines, this is a whole romance imprint of Bantam that is completely defunct, and that is Love Swept. I got 3 of those. And I don't really hear people talking too much about Love Swept, or for that matter, Candlelight Ecstasy Romance, which I have a lot of Candlelight Ecstasy Romance. If you hear a noise, that's wind. It's a very windy day, and sometimes when it hits the house just right, it kind of catches into this, the joinery on the window. This is an older house. Anyway, if you've seen other videos, you might have seen this happening, or heard it more accurately. Anyway, so I think because I have 3 of these, I might do a retro romance vlog just about these 3 books, or maybe these plus comparing them with Candlelight Ecstasy and Harlequin Presents. I haven't decided yet, but it'll be a fun thing to do. So I'm going to keep those with my other categories, which are not out on the shelves. Well, they kind of are. I have 2-tiered shelves, and in one case 3-tiered, and what forms the tier, you have like a row of, say, historical romances, and then behind that is a row of category romances, which are supporting another row of historical romances. So the category romances aren't really visible, but they are being stored and also providing a vital function. Okay, the rest I got, the rest of the mass markets I got are all historical romance. So I think I'll just quickly talk about of these, if I can get them. These imprints are all contemporary, at least contemporary to the time. Now maybe they're historical romance, going back to the 1990s. Okay, these are the trade paperbacks I picked up. Now, I did not realize, these are both by Shannon McKenna, and I didn't realize that they are part of like a multi-book series. I think this one is book 6 and this one's book 8, something like that. I'm hoping I don't have to read them in order. I don't get the impression that I have to read them in order, just that they're kind of like a shared universe kind of a thing. If I like them, they had plenty. Penny had plenty of books by Shannon McKenna. So I think if I like them, I can go back and get more. Because I'm not sure, I wasn't really able to find too much at my library by this author. And if I don't like them, well, I didn't buy all of them, so I'm not out that much money. And then the other two I got, this is a book I hadn't heard of, but it was actually made into a movie, and it has a sequel. We've got by Jamie Maguire, Beautiful Disaster, and the sequel, Walking Disaster, which I gather is from the, one is from her point of view, this is from his point of view. Anyway, this one, it was made into a movie with one of the Sprouse twins. I think it was Dylan, but I could be mistaken about that. And then some older actors I had heard of and some younger actors I had not heard of. But I don't remember who they were. Anyway. Okay, so this box is all step backs. And they're trying to get away. And these are not step backs. Okay, so what we have here is... Okay, I realize I'm setting this up like it's a haul video, and it is kind of, but it's also an organizational thing, and I just want to be kind of chatty about it and just kind of talk about how I'm thinking of organizing. I'm basically thinking out loud, so I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to be using this video or posting this video. I just thought I'd turn on the camera and see what happened. What's going to happen is I'm going to flap my gums so much that nothing will get done, and I'll run out of storage. Anyway, so I have got a couple of, let's see, Roseanne Bittner, Arizona Brides. So this is Western, U.S. I also have, let's see, oh, okay, this is 1067. So this is Medieval by Penelope Neary. I guess it's Medieval March as I'm recording this, but it's almost over. So I have like 10 days in which to read all the medievals I want. And I like medievals. So I'm missing something. Ah, here we go. A couple of Lorraine Heath's Never Love a Cowboy, Never Marry a Cowboy. I actually do have the, what is it, The Rogue of Texas, or whatever the first book in this trilogy is. I actually do have that already shelved. And then these are all by the always delightful Eva Lee. And then I have various step backs, a couple of Westerns, some Regencies, Regency, or 19th century. Ah, this is the, speaking of delightful, we have Pamela Morrissey, which she tends to write about Oklahoma, in the late 19th, early 20th century. Amanda Quick, one of the Regencies that I didn't already have. This is a, I think this is 18th century. This is late 19th century in the Amazon, but they're Europeans or North Americans exploring the Amazon. And I think this is Regency, and this is another Eva Lee. So anyway, that's basically what I'm working with. And I'm trying to decide what's going to go downstairs. I've tried this before, of putting some books on those shelves downstairs, and then they didn't last for whatever reason. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. I think what I might do is put all of the Eva Lees, which includes, I think I have one or two in my hallway, the Heartfelt hallway, which is where I mostly keep my romances. So I think I'm going to grab those other two, and these will go downstairs. And I want to have a little bit of diversity there, so I'll probably grab a contemporary romance or a romantic suspense, maybe science fiction, put those down there, and that'll free some space to shelve these things. And I actually already have been moving my books around, and I have a space, if you watch my bookshelf tour, I have this bookshelf in the corner of my bedroom where I am putting my dark romances now. At the time, I only had a few dark romances over there. It was mostly science fiction, thrillers, and horror. I moved my horror into another room. That's going to be a different video. And so I have space for these over there already. So that's already been done. Not quite sure how I'm going to handle the others. I will update you as events warrant. Okay, welcome to beautiful downtown downstairs and the front room. As I'm rearranging books and so on, I mentioned that I was going to bring some of them downstairs to have them on hand here. But before I can do that, I'm going to need to do some serious cleaning up. Now, okay, as you can see, there is what looks like a Christmas tree. It is not a Christmas tree, it is the Army of Darkness tree. Because these little doll ornaments are in fact a vicious killing force known as the Army of Darkness. And I do not want to put them in the attic because that is just going to be trouble with a capital T. The area I'm going to concentrate on is over here. Now, as you can see, I've got a nice little bookcase, which has some cuddle toy occupants, and some shelves that are kind of being underused. So this can be reorganized. This, of course, is my recliner. And I have this little side table that is kind of like a little staircase, ladder type thing. I think it was originally meant to be a plant stand, but I'm using it for things. Things which also can be organized. There are a lot of candles on here and some miscellaneous stuff. So this is everything back here. I want to organize it a little bit better so there's not so much wasted space, and I have a nice little setup for reading. So that is the goal for that space. You know, I see all of these people who are sitting on the floor in front of their bookcases, and I think, oh, it must be that the lighting's better down there. And I thought maybe that would help me, but it doesn't. The lighting is just bad no matter where I go. I gotta stop worrying about it. I really don't like being on the floor too, because I'm not sure, I haven't been to a doctor, but I think I have bursitis in my right knee. And I can walk, I can run, I can jump, I can heave myself up and down stairs, no problem, no problem. But as soon as I put any exterior pressure on that knee, it's on the side of the knee, so if I'm kneeling, if it's really bad, sometimes my clothing or my bedding brushes against that knee, and it is fire. And not in the good way. It is on fire, it is painful, it feels like burning. I'm just glad it doesn't compromise my mobility. Because if I had trouble walking, running, jumping, etc., that would really suck. But this is bad enough. It's hard to crawl around on the floor, which makes certain house cleaning and organization stuff a little tough. And I just have to grin and bear it. Well, actually, I don't grin and bear it. I use a lot of bad words and don't bear it very well at all. Yeah. Anyway, I dragged up a whole bunch of stuff from downstairs. I should have some pictures. I tried taking footage, but for some reason, I'm used to talking to the camera and doing it kind of selfie style. And whenever I swap it around and just use it as a regular camera, this is my phone I'm talking about, I seem to I think I'm filming stuff, and it turns out it's like the bottom third of what I think is the bottom third of the screen just isn't there at all. So that's kind of what happened when I was trying to film the downstairs spaces. So I just took still shots, especially while I took some while I was cleaning. I wasn't about to film myself cleaning because that would just be too many things to pay attention to at once. So I did do that. So basically right now I brought everything upstairs. I cleaned out that corner, and now I'm ready to decide what goes into that corner. So it's going to be books and things of that nature. That's really nice and vague. Okay, so first off, the stuff that was on the bookcase and on that little table that has shelves, that tiered table. And I was just, before I started filming, I was trying to pick up the box of stuff, and it weighs. It's not a very large box, but it's packed mostly with candles in glass. So this sucker weighs about 15 pounds or so. A lot. I'm surprised the box didn't break. So these are not the books that were down there. There weren't that many books down there, and they're still down there. But it's the candles and some other stuff, mostly candles. And then there was actually a candle that didn't fit in the box. So I'm going to go through these and talk about what they are and whether or not I'm going to take it back downstairs or replace it with something else. The reason I brought everything upstairs, even a couple of things that I knew were going to go back downstairs, is just so that I would have a nice clean slate, so I could be mindful about the stuff I'm putting back down there again. So one thing that absolutely goes down there again, and I actually did not bring this up mindfully. I actually was carrying it because I was taking some pictures. It's my candle lighter. I was carrying it because I was taking some pictures and I needed the lighter with me to light the candles. And then I was still carrying it and I meant to drop it off and I didn't. So it ended up upstairs. And I was like, well, you know what? This actually kind of works out with my plans for once. So I am going to demonstrate how this works. I have a very similar one up here. This is rechargeable. It's got a cable. You plug it into a USB port and it recharges. This is like, what it does is that you turn it on and the power, I hope you can see that. It creates an electricity and a little electrical circuit, and then you break it, you break that spark circuit thing with something and it will set it on fire. It's designed specifically for candles. And this is a candle called Sweetgrass, which I like this candle a lot. And I had it downstairs because I was enjoying it with a book by Pamela Morrissey called Runabout, which took place in Oklahoma in 1916. And it was springtime and the characters spent a lot of time in fields talking. Anyway, this has a protective thing that goes on the end. I always have trouble getting it fit for some reason. And then you turn it on like this. These lights tell you how much, I don't know if you can see those lights. Oops. Those lights tell you how much charge there is. If they start getting low, then you know to recharge it. And then this thing, you have to turn this on in order to engage the electricity to create the spark. And if you forget to turn this bit down here off, it'll turn off automatically in, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. It'll turn off automatically. So that's a nice safety feature. Anyway, got that from Amazon. I like to use the little plastic guard basically to help keep me from getting soot everywhere, you know, from the thing. Anyway, I'm going to blow this out because I'm going to be moving stuff around and I don't want to knock it over and set fire to stuff. That would be bad candle safety practice. Ooh, it's smoking. Okay, so what else did I have down there? I had this, which isn't very good at holding things. I have this little glass jar and it's holding some very short dried roses. Oh, and this black thing down here is a black cork. It's from a wine bottle. It's not actually cork, it's a composite, but it functions as a cork, but it's not made out of literal cork. And so I don't know where I'm going to put this. I know that I was looking for it the other day for a picture and then couldn't find it. And then it turned out it was on a shelf where I couldn't see it. So I think I'm going to put it up here in this room or in the sitting room or in the heartfelt hallway just to have it more visible and accessible. I think oh, Runabout. I brought Runabout upstairs too because I was reading it downstairs. I finished it. It's got a lovely step back. And now it's ready to be put with my finished books. I'm going to just keep recording until I run out of storage. And I had a bunch of candles. This one is cinnamon apple, which is kind of like a Christmas candle. It's really nice, but I think I'm going to put it with the, it goes into a set of 12 Christmas candles, and I'm going to put it with that. This one is, I think is this limoncello? No, this is Clean Waves from Sand and Fog. It's a tin. It does smell it smells clean. I don't know about waves. And on the top it says, I lost my heart to the sea. which when you read mermaid romance, that's a good candle for that. I have this one that's designed to look like a soda can. This is Strawberry Pop from DW Home. It has a nice fresh strawberry smell. It's like sometimes when you smell something that's supposed to smell like peach or strawberry, whatever, and you feel like you can actually smell the leaves as well as the fruit, as opposed to just some chemical peach scent or strawberry scent or whatever. This is one of those where I feel like I can actually smell the leaves, even though it's pop and they would strain the leaves. This is a sweet orange and lemon. Yeah, that's what it smells like. It smells like kind of expensive soap with a hint of orange and lemon. This is sandalwood musk. It's smells like very clean aftershave, or more like actually very clean shaving cream. Very nice scent. And I think it was down there. It's been down there for several months. I think I used this when I burned this while I was reading Pen Pal by J.T. Geisinger. And yeah, and then this one is Beach Day. There are a fair number of books that goes with. This one is Winter in Connecticut, which is very nice because I actually live in Connecticut. This is Chandler in Andover, Connecticut, which is 20-30 miles east of me. It's very nice. I have a whole set that's the 4 seasons plus Christmas. This one is hard to read. Just do a little cleanup. Open Ranch. Wild and Free Open Ranch. And this was in a presentation box with 3 other candles that were all themed around the American West. U.S. American West. And then this is just some random fall decorations that ended up down there and I never brought them up. Now I have, and I'll put them with my other fall stuff. And then this is a candle. I love this candle, and I have 2 of it. I am not mad about that. It's from Golden Fox Apothecary, which is on Etsy. And she does these sampler boxes. You could get 6 candles for a nice price, and they're so nice. They're really nice. They're wood wick. This one's called Rainy Day Reading, and I was in 2 different boxes that she did, but I didn't mind. Everything else in the box, everything else in those 2 boxes was different, and I really like Rainy Day Reading candles, so I was not at all upset to have 2 of it. So that's definitely going back downstairs because I have 1 up here, 1 for downstairs. Works out. And it's just such a nice candle to burn. I do need to do something that wood wick is, I don't know if you can see, but it is really long and needs to be knocked back a little bit. So that's what I brought upstairs. And I know for sure that this candle, and this one is Rose Garden, which is quite nice. Again, I smell roses and I smell rose leaves. Also geranium. So that keeps it from being too sweet. And it does really smell like a garden. Okay, and then I have a whole box of books I'm going to take down, but I'm about to run out of storage. So I think I'm going to clear the phone storage and then film a clip about the books and try to figure out which candles I want to take downstairs. While that was transferring and so on, I got a couple of things. Now, the thing about taking candles downstairs to burn while I read books from downstairs, couple of things. One, I don't want to burn a candle that's going to bother my mom because we share that space, and so I don't want her to have to smell something that she doesn't like. The other thing is, which as long as I stay away from any candles that have a more heavy, like artificial kind of chemical smell, or a very heavy, smells like a perfume rather than like a coffee or a baked good or a flower or something like that. The other thing is I don't always know what candle I'm going to burn with what book. I'm planning to do a whole video where I talk about how I make those decisions. So this is a bit of a sneak preview for that, I guess. Because there are a variety of different ways I make those choices. If I look weird, I'm actually leaning on, I have an ottoman in front of me that I'm kind of leaning on. So I picked a bunch of books to put downstairs. I won't necessarily know what candle goes with those books what scent I would want to burn while I read those books until I've actually read them. Sometimes I read a few pages, or sometimes I've had to read like 10 or 20% of the book before something occurs to me. Other times it's really obvious. Like right now, I'm doing a buddy read with Aina of Aina's Books and Budgets. Check out her channel if you haven't already. Anyway, we're doing a buddy read of Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, which is about a woman who is a NCAA Division I diver. I have a candle called Poolside Dream, so which does not smell like chlorine. So it does smell nice though. So obviously that's going to be the candle I'm burning with Deep End. I knew that before I even started the book. Okay, so yeah, I don't necessarily know. So I might want to have just some candles that I generally know will go with a lot of different books, and that, again, that my mother will not find objectionable. So let's take a look at what those books are that I chose to take downstairs, because I did this several days ago. I don't really remember. I already have the complete L. Frank Baum Wizard of Oz books downstairs. They're in 5 volumes, multiple titles per volume. And I also have 2 books, can't remember who wrote them, Holly's Inbox and Holly's Inbox Summer in the City. This is basically, you get to find out all of the tea from a particular office where Holly works, and through her emails and texts and so on. So that's going to be a fun read at some point, because one of them is called Summer in the City. I keep thinking it's going to be a summer read, but I think the first book might actually take place throughout the year or during Christmas or something. I'm not sure. Not going to worry about it right now. So what I decided to take down there are going to be, okay, here we go. This is an awkward box with these weird flaps and stuff. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, I'm going to take all of my Eva Lee books down there, because I've only read 1 book by her so far, and it was a library book that I don't have, but I liked it a lot. I want to read more from her. And in fact, if I ever see that book, which was My Fake Rake, if I ever see that in a used bookstore or something, I've been looking for it, haven't found it yet, I'm going to buy it. So she has, I think, tends to write trilogies. So I have My Fake Rake was from the Union of the Rakes, so these are the other 2 books. I also have the 3 volumes of The Wicked Quills of London. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, The Wicked Quills of London. And I think Last Chance Scoundrel. I don't know which volume this is, but it's the only one of that trilogy that I have. But I also have complete London Underground trilogy by her. Anyway, so I just thought I'm going to put all of my Eva Lee books downstairs, and that way I'm never too far from an historical romance that I know I am more than likely than not going to enjoy. So those are going downstairs. This is called The Virgin's Cure. This is a large print book. I don't have to read large print books, but sometimes I prefer to. And it is historical fiction that takes place in 1871 Manhattan, and it has to do with historical human trafficking to a brothel and that kind of thing. Very 12-year-old girl. It's not a romance. It's historical fiction, and it has a nice bookmark built in. Anyway, I just grabbed that as one of my large print books because, again, I'd like to have that as an option next time I go downstairs in the middle of the night and don't want to take a book with me and just want to grab what I have down there. I took a couple of books that were awkward sizes because I figured I'd be better able to accommodate them downstairs than on my main shelves. This is actually, I bought this via Amazon looking for Andrew McCarthy by Jenny Colgan. It's actually a British edition. In fact, I'm not sure that this book has ever been printed in the United States. I know that the publisher says it should be sold for £5.99. And somebody bought it at one point from Oxfam, which is a charity shop, for £2.99. So I think I spent more than that getting it used on Amazon. Anyway, so as a British book, it's their dimensions for mass market paperbacks are slightly different from the ones we use in the United States, so it just made it kind of awkward to shelf. So I was like, I'll put it downstairs. That'll be fine. And then I have this book, The Do-Over by Sharon M. Peterson. Totally laugh out loud, feel good romantic comedy. They would say that, wouldn't they? And it says she's heading toward her future. He's running from his past. And I don't know. I just think it's a fun, flirty summary kind of cover. And I don't know if you can see, but she has this very nice yellow skirt that has a bunch of little watermelon wedges on it. It's just fun. And I like her shoes too. Very kicky. So that's going to go downstairs. Oh, one more book. Just wanted to have quite a variety of choices. I also have some nonfiction books downstairs, but they're not on that little shelf. They're in a different room. This is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan, which is the paths of these three characters, a girl, a prince, and a monster. The paths of these three characters become entwined during a centuries-long war filled with sinners, saints, magic and mystery, and a star-crossed romance that threatens to tip the scales between dark and light forever. And I'm just trying to decide if I want to grab some science fiction, because this is like fantasy, romantic comedy. I don't know if this has romance in it, but it's just kind of like a voyage of self-discovery. I don't know. Let me see what the back says. She wanted a penthouse apartment with billowing curtains and an impossibly handsome and sensitive man, preferably her teen idol Andrew McCarthy, 80s Brat Pack movie star. She got a pokey flat shared with a big bastard who isn't even her boyfriend, and a sense that somehow things haven't gone according to plan for her and her friends. So they go off on a road trip trying to see if they can meet Andrew McCarthy so that he can help them figure stuff out. Perhaps the coolest, wisest brat packer of them all can tell them where they went wrong. Having heard what Andrew McCarthy's had to say recently about his brat pack days and how he feels about that now, I don't know that that's necessarily going to be particularly helpful for them. Anyway. Decided I wanted to have a little bit more diversity, so I Shudder at Your Touch, 22 Tales of Sex and Horror. And so that's an anthology. It's nice to have that downstairs, because usually when I go downstairs, it's when I wake up at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I go downstairs and I read until my mom gets up. And sometimes I want short stories, sometimes I want a novel, whatever. I have this book. This is YA, like horror science fiction. It was positively blurred by Suzanne Collins. So yeah, The 11th Plague, Jeff Hirsch. If I didn't already say that, I just did again. Sometimes the only way to survive is to keep moving. America is a vast, desolate landscape left ravaged after a brutal war. 2/3 of the population are dead from a vicious strain of influenza. People called the sickness the 11th Plague. So it's about a 15-year-old Stephen Quinn who was born after the war and only knows the life of a salvager. So he finds a seemingly idyllic community. I'm guessing it's probably got some sort of hideous secret or whatever, otherwise there wouldn't be a book there. And then I also got this thriller, The Wife Before, by Shanora Williams. And I haven't read anything by her, either Shanora Williams, which I think is her thriller name, or S. Williams, which I think she's written some dark romance, like a cartel romance that I like dark romance and organized crime romance, so I might be getting my hands on that if I get a chance. So yeah. So those are the books that are going downstairs. Now I need to figure out the candles that are going downstairs. And then I can wait another 2 weeks before I actually take stuff downstairs. Can I say the word downstairs a few more times? I think that would be helpful. So I want to get some smaller candles, and I want to make sure I have candles that have lids so that the scent is contained when I'm not burning them. except for this one. I was going to get this one, Vampire Venom Potion, because my mom actually really likes this one. It's like fig and ginger. It's really, really nice. And I'm going to have that so that when I decide to dive into I Shudder at Your Touch, 22 Tales of Sex and Horror, that'll be a good candle for that. I burned it a couple of times fairly recently and not so recently. So yeah, that's going downstairs for sure. And as I said, rainy day reading, because that is, I have another one up here and it's a really good one, especially if it is in fact a rainy day. Or if it's a book about rain. Yeah, I'm really literal minded sometimes. Okay, so I have a bunch more. Let's see. Pine and Paperbacks. Yeah, that's a nice one. It does. It smells exactly like it says it would. It smells exactly like the title would imply. That's going to go downstairs because I got a lot of paperbacks, and I have a year-round Christmas tree that's artificial, but it's pine adjacent looking. Let's see, Leaves and Lore. These are all so nice. I'm not going to stop and smell them all because I'll be here all day if I do. Ooh, this is a good one. Dark Academia. Not going to take that, or Academia, depending on how you pronounce it. Not going to take that downstairs because these are all Golden Fox Apothecary, by the way. Not going to take Dark Academia downstairs because I don't have any Dark Academia books downstairs. So, Fireside Fables is a good one. Let's see. Ooh, leather-bound books. Okay, I don't have leather-bound books downstairs, but ooh, Gray Day. Here's one. Yeah, this one I burned. These are from Mixed Inspired. Their book club, her book club collection. Take Gray Day downstairs. Let's see. Oh, this is from the page As You Wish. Again, Elven Forest. Fresh coffee. Take a fresh coffee one downstairs because I know my mom will not have problems with that. Afternoon Tea, that's a good one for historical romances. This is also from the page, also on Etsy. This one you can't really see the logo very well, I don't think, but it's Mixed Inspired is the name of the shop. She's on Etsy. Yeah, Afternoon Tea can go downstairs because I think that would go well with those Evelise. Let's see. Bookshelf. Highly appropriate. Noir. I feel like if I put noir down there, I should have a noir book, which I don't. I'll hang on to that one for now. Oh, Cozy Weather. Of course, I'm doing this. It's April 1st. Probably won't even have it posted until, like, I don't know. Maybe it will be Cozy Weather again by the time I get this posted because it kind of, you know. This is Book Club Fantasyland, which should also be Mixed Inspired, but it's not labeled. Ooh, Glowing Forest. Mystic Tavern. None of these are really saying to me that I should put them downstairs. However, I do have 7 candles. I think I'm going to put the Rose Garden one down there as well, because I think that goes well with historical romance. So yeah, I think that's probably enough. I have no idea how much of this stuff I'll actually be able to fit on those shelves. So we shall see that as well. Okay, so that's what the progress is on that, and I think it's, like I said, it's probably going to be a couple of days. I don't think it's actually going to be until like September or October, but it's probably going to be a couple of days before I actually arrange stuff and take pictures and show the finished result. Don't think there will be any more clips in the meantime, but we shall see. Okay, it's Friday, April 4th. And I was just watching the clips for this video back while I was editing them last night, and I've been at this project for 2 weeks. Now, if you add up all the time I've spent on it, it's maybe an hour. I'd be surprised if it were any more than that. It's just been really spread out because I've been doing a bunch of other stuff. So I put the books I showed off from the box in the last clip, I put those downstairs on the shelf and I had some space left over. So that was great. And so what I decided to do was to take my sort of oversized books. I already talked about Looking for Andrew McCarthy by Jenny Colgan, which is a British mass market, so it's slightly taller than American mass markets, but only by like a centimeter, if that. However, I do have these ones that are an awkward size, like In the Arms of a Highlander by Michelle Sinclair, which incidentally I found at Dollar Tree for $1.25, which is actually not quite mass market sized. To compare it with a library, it happens to be a library book, 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake by Sarah McLean, you can see it's taller and wider, which, because I tier my mass markets, makes it a little awkward. I'll film a clip to demonstrate what I mean by that. So we have this book that is about maybe about a centimeter taller up here and like 1.5 centimeters wider here, which really throws me off. Believe it or not, that is enough to throw me off when I'm trying to tier my shelves. Like I said, I'll put in a clip demonstrating what I mean. This book is also significantly smaller than a trade paperback. This is Something Spectacular by Alexis Hall, just for demonstration purposes. And you can see that here there's a really significant difference in size. So I decided to take my sort of slightly oversized historicals and put them downstairs. And I have In the Arms of a Highlander, Hero Wanted by Bettina Cron, Highland Honor by Hannah Howell, shiny, okay, and A Cowboy of Legends by Linda Brode. And also, I didn't bring them upstairs because I had already positioned them, but I have the Byronic Book Club by Amy Rose Bennett. So that would be Up All Night with the Good Duke, Curled Up with an Earl, and I can't remember what the third one is called. Yes, I will put it in here. So I'm almost done. I just need to get these on the shelf down there. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I need to do. And then I will film a clip of that. And I need to, like I said, kind of show what I mean when I'm talking about tiered shelves for mass markets and why that size was awkward. Okay, so this is what I meant by tiered shelves. As you can see, I have 2 rows of books on one shelf. The back row is raised so I can see what I have. And it's being supported by custom cut cardboard boxes, custom cut by me, it wasn't fancy, which have category romances in them to give them more structural stability and keep those boxes from collapsing under the weight of the books. I'm probably going to do that differently at some point, but it's not a huge priority for me at this time. This is where I had the slightly larger books, and as you can see, there's hardly any margin left on the shelf. So I decided it was easier to just take them downstairs and put them on those shelves. Okay, and here's the finished product. As you can see, the top 2 shelves are some stuffed animals, bears, Raggedy Ann, lion, etc. And then books on the 2 shelves below. And my little shelf side table has been cleared off and restocked with some extra space and my reading glasses. Okay, so there we have it. I've finally gotten my downstairs reading corner tidied up and put some books and candles in, and I have room for more when I feel moved. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video. If you did, like, comment, share, subscribe, or don't. I am not the boss of you, and I hope you have a good day or night.